Mechanical tension-based programs. The 1-6 method. The 1-6 method works by means of post-activation potentiation, which increases motor unit activation. You would perform a 1 rep max, then rest for 3 to 10 minutes. On your second set, you would perform a 6 rep max, then rest again for 3 to 10 minutes. You would then slightly increase the weight and repeat the previous 2 sets. So your next 1RM should be slightly heavier than your first 1RM. Again, you would rest 3 to 10 minutes and then perform another set of 6 that's slightly heavier. You should notice that the weight you can use incrementally increases each time. This phenomenon is known as post-activation potentiation, PAP. Here is an example of what this might look like. Let's say you can bench press 300 pounds for a 1RM. This would mean you should be able to do roughly 245 pounds for a 6RM. So on your first set, you're going to perform your 1RM of 300 pounds. On your second set, after resting 3 to 10 minutes, you're going to perform 245 pounds for 6 reps. You would rest again 3 to 10 minutes and then incrementally increase the weight, let's assume 305 for 1 rep. Again, rest 3 to 10 minutes and then perform another set of 6 for slightly heavier weight. Let's assume 250 pounds. Again, rest 3 to 10 minutes and incrementally increase the weight again. Here is a sample of what a workout might look like. By supersetting your primary exercises, you can maximize your recovery without having to sit around for too long. It's important. Isoholds. Isoholds are holding a specific joint angle or muscle length for a given period of time. There are 2 primary types of isoholds. Peak contraction, which means pausing between the concentric and eccentric contractions, used to increase mind-muscle connection and motor unit activation, and dead stop training, pauses between the eccentric and concentric contractions, used to reduce elasticity stored in muscles and tendons. By eliminating stored elasticity, motor unit activation increases. A peak contraction is performed as an isometric contraction at the fully shortened position of a movement, and the focus is on squeezing the muscle as hard as possible. Here is an example of a bicep curl. The peak contraction occurs at the top end of the bicep curl. In this example, the isohold would be performed for 3 seconds. A dead stop is performed at the fully lengthened position of a movement. In this bicep curl example, the isohold would be held for 3 seconds at the fully lengthened position, which is the bottom position of the bicep curl. Here is a lower body sample workout. Your first exercise, A1, is a squat, and for it we are going to use dead stop training. When performing this exercise, you would have a 4-second descent with a 2-second pause at the bottom position. Your second exercise, A2, is a kneeling leg curl, and it takes advantage of peak contraction. The isometric exercise for both of these exercises performing is the concentric on every rep to pause for 2 seconds at the shortened position in the tempo, focusing on squeezing the muscle. The modified Hepburn method. The modified Hepburn method is a progression that occurs over several weeks. You begin by using 80% of your 1 rep max and perform 8 sets of 2 reps for your first workout. Rest 2 to 3 minutes in between each set. At the next workout, keeping the weight the same, you increase the overall reps by performing 1 set of 3 and then 7 sets of 2. Now, at the third workout, to increase the overall reps again, you will perform 2 sets of 3 and 6 sets of 2. Keep adjusting to add an additional set of 3 until you work up to 8 sets of 3. Now that you can perform 8 sets of 3, increase the weight by 2.5 to 5%, and then go back to 8 sets of 2 and repeat the program. Here is an example of how this would look. Using 160 pounds for 8 sets of 2, you would increase the reps every workout for 9 workouts until you accomplished 8 sets of 3. Then you would increase the weight by roughly 5% and be using 165 to 170 pounds. And you would start the sequence over again at 8 sets of 2. Here is a sample lower body workout. In this sample, the primary exercise, the trap bar deadlift, uses the modified Hepburn progression model. Cluster training. Cluster training refers to doing a set of several reps but taking a short rest between each rep. These are referred to as intra-set rests. By clustering your reps together, you will be able to perform more work than normal at a given weight. These short rest periods between reps gives your body just enough time to replenish a little bit of ATP so you can continue lifting at a higher intensity. By keeping the high intensity, you can better optimize mechanical tension. Traditionally, cluster training was used for 5 sets of 5. You would load the barbell to roughly 90% of your 1 rep max and perform 1 rep. Then rack the bar, rest 10 to 15 seconds, and perform another rep. Rest again for 10 to 15 seconds, and then perform another rep. You would continue this sequence until you accomplished 5 reps. Here is a hypertrophy cluster method. With this model, you begin with 4 sets of 5 reps and progress over a 4-week period to 4 sets of 8 reps. This is accomplished by adding 1 rep per workout. This second hypertrophy cluster model is similar except uses a higher repetition count. In this model, week 1 you begin with 6 reps and over a 4-week period progress to 9. Here is a sample upper body workout that uses cluster training. In this workout, both of your primary exercises, A1 and A2, use the cluster method progression model.